Hey, what's up YouTube? Kris Krohn here, and today I'm talking about the feeling that you get when you're making a residual income. Dude, it is one of the most amazing feelings. It's something I never take for granted, and I want to share how you can get your own piece of the action on it. So before I had residual income, I had debt, I had a lack of direction, I didn't know how I was going to produce the money to take care of my family, and that was really stressful for me. I also had a job that I didn't like, and I wasn't making very much money. In truth, I was making less than $20,000 a year while I was going to school full-time. So full-time job, full-time, all of that, and on top of that, being newly married. So my life, if I'm being totally honest with you, I wasn't terribly happy. And what I hated was how hard I was working. And then the little bit of money I got at the end of the month, it's like it just poof, it disappeared and it would go away. And for me, that was like a really stressful deal. So my first residual income happened when I bought my first house. Now, you probably know I love real estate. I prefer it to most other things that are out there because I work one time and I get to capture a huge residual income. Like in the game of MLM, you might have to, network marketing, you might have to actually build a downline with hundreds of people on what I can make in just a single house. Well, I did my first deal. That first house actually produced a residual income for me that basically paid for my mortgage. So that was my biggest expense at the time outside of college tuition. And so for me, what that meant was that I was actually able to live for free. Dude, so what that meant was that the $550 that I was paying for the mortgage essentially got covered. Living for free and having that $550 left over every month, that was such a big deal because it was like the first time I could breathe. I eliminated my biggest expense. And dude, that feeling, it was amazing. But more than that, it gave me hope. It said, oh my gosh, if I did this once, I can do it again. So that's what I did. I actually got myself to the tune of getting my second deal done. My second deal was paying me $600 a month residual income. So I was living for free. I was getting paid $600 a month. And that $600, the reason why that was so important is because my wife and I had accumulated $8,700 of credit card debt, and we didn't know how we were going to pay it down. But just between the money that I was saving from not having a mortgage and the money that I was making on that second deal, we got out of debt in a matter of a few short months. And so all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, why on earth do people have jobs? Why aren't people creating residual incomes? Real estate is one of the best ways that I personally know of how to actually create a residual income. So that was like when my wife and I sat down and said, all right, this is serious. We need to figure out how to get to $10,000 a month of residual income. Kris, you can quit your job. You can do anything you want. And a few years later, I was 26 years old and I quit my job. And that was probably seriously, that was like the most amazing feeling. Here, I want you to look over here in the distance. You're going to see some buildings. And just over that tree line there in the far distance, I used to work in those buildings. That is where I actually had this job that was paying me not very much money. But what I was really looking for was this ultimate freedom from a job. That's when I knew that I had reached like a new level. And after I bought my 25th home, I surpassed my $10,000 a month. My real estate was doing $12,000 a month. And that's when I basically woke up one morning and I said, honey, I think today's the day. And I got in my BMW convertible. I drove over to the office. I sat down with my boss and I basically said, hey, listen, I'm done. And it actually didn't go down that way. I asked for I think a $70,000 raise, which he basically laughed at me for. And I laughed too. And dude, I was done. Driving home that day, I was freaking screaming. My hands were up in the air. I was driving my convertible. I was calling up my wife, my father-in-law, my friends. I said, I'm retired. I'm done. I'm out, which was so weird because I had just graduated college. But that's how powerful these techniques are. For me, that residual income, it's so powerful. It's been so amazing. And right now it's created all of these years since then. It's 12 years I've been financially free. 12 years off of financial life support. And I'm telling you right now, I think I'd rather die than go back to a job. I don't know if I could ever do it again. And I'm grateful that I will likely never have to do it again. And so, yeah, that's what financial freedom feels like for me. Now today, the situation has improved to a whole nother level. And yesterday I was sitting down with my boss and I engaged him in seeing if he wanted to do business with me. And dude, it was just coming full circle in such an amazing way. Hey friends, thanks for taking this walk with me. Listen, if you would actually like to know how I became financially free, if you'd like help with that, all you got to do is click the link over here on my website, and I'm all set up to mentor people. I've got a whole staff and team. We take you under our wings, and the way that I help my father-in-law make piles of money and my brother make piles of money and thousands of other people, I'm prepared to help you do the same. All you got to do is hike over to the website, and in the least, make sure that you are a subscriber. Ring that bell, because I'd like to notify you when these videos come out on a daily basis. And then check out some of the other videos that we've got. I hope that they will be a blessing to you. I hope if I can impart even just one principle that can be useful for your life. Dude, that's what keeps me up in the night, actually doing this, loving on you guys. Have an amazing life. Make the most of it. Check out the resources on that website. We'll see you soon.